Hey everybody, Top Brush here. I wanted to show you guys an important trick for Sona, which is really valuable if you're trying to play Sona into matchups where your range advantage is really small. So for example, Sona into Caitlyn, Sona's Q has a 825 range, and Caitlyn's autos have 700 range, so you've only got 125 units of space in order to play with, in order to land your Qs where you're hitting the Caitlyn and you're not getting hit back. So this is a trick that everyone should know if you're a Sona player, and that is turning the HUD on and off. So there's a key that you can bind that turns the HUD on and off. All of the stuff in the top right, at the bottom, and on the right, at the bottom, the minimap. So if you mouse over an ability, it'll show the range. If you make it show the range and then you turn the HUD off, so you're just mousing over it and you're turning the HUD off, the range will stay there. So you can play around with a big circle. It's just like what you would see if you had a script enabled. Obviously the downside is you don't get to see your HUD, your cooldowns, and the minimap. But again, if you put the toggle button, I put the toggle button bound to Z, it's really easy to turn it on and off because it's right next to your hand. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm in lane against, let's say, Caitlyn. And again, Caitlyn's range is 700, so if I was just eyeballing it, and I got about this close to her, she'd auto me instantly. But if I have the HUD turned off and I have the circle on, I can dance in and out of her range and land the Q just at the tip and then turn the HUD back on right afterwards and look at the minimap. And then I guess 8 seconds later when it's time for it to do it again, or I guess 15 seconds later if you're just following your mana flow band, again you just turn it off, get the Q, and then you turn it back on again. And this is really helpful, especially if there's two enemies in lane and it's like a Thresh or a Nautilus. You can position next to the Caitlyn and sort of dance in and out of her range, and you can find just the right angle where you can hit both of them. I guess that was a bad example, but just at the right angle where you can hit both of them at max range without getting hit yourself. So in order to do this, you're just going to hotkeys. It's under menus. Is that right? No, I'm sorry, that's not right. It's under display. Here it is. Show/hide HUD. Mine's just set to Z. Make it easy. And this works for pretty much every ability in the game. You can see your flash range. I often use this when I have an ally on my team who's just barely out of range with my W. So you can mouse over your W, and your allies in combat, mouse over your W, get the heal max range. I guess if you're uphill versus downhill, it's a little bit harder to do. There's just some weird Z level stuff going on. But if we're both in the river, it's a lot easier to just get the heal max range like that. Very nice. And yeah, works with all your abilities. You can see the summoner spell heal range. So this is the summoner spell heal. Works for your ult too, I guess. Works on every champ pretty much. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this helps.